Hey Scorpios, and welcome to your July 2018 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully another amazing reading in this very defining and explosive nearly month of July. This is kind of one of your most activated months of the year, Scorpio, as we have Jupiter right in the middle of the month entering its direct degree, preparing to move back into direct motion after it has been retrograde for so long. I know that Scorpios are coming into this month with a change, with something that has very much changed the way that you see the world, something that has very much changed the tone that you take with yourself and how you operate within your life, with your existence, and with your goals. This is it, Scorpio. I'm not going to speak too quickly, as the channeling that's coming in for you this month is very wide and it's simple to see. The energy is very direct, very clear, but also quite occlusive, as well as I feel a shadowing, a blocking out of something which is no longer good for you, that ultimately gives you the best thing in the world but feels quite hard right now. So there are a few different categories of Scorpios coming into July as a month. I feel that there is a category of Scorpios that are having a bit of a health crisis, or feeling as if they don't trust their body or trust their systems. I feel that there is a group of Scorpios that is encountering a new type of like financial or material benevolence and wondering how to react, wondering if it will last. And then there's another group of Scorpios that have suffered quite a strong loss, or are rethinking what loss meant to them in the past. I'm going to try to kind of work around each category for this reading. So it could be kind of long, just bear with me. And I feel that each category will resonate with each other. So as I'm addressing each and every category, I feel that each other type of Scorpio can gain something from that. First and foremost, the health, Scorpio. Let's talk about the health. Let's talk about your body. Let's talk about emotional health, physical health, working within a nice type of energetic output. I feel like a lot of Scorpios before March of 2018 were quite healthy, and they were able to kind of focus all of their attention onto things outside of themselves and things like all around them. And then like March came when Jupiter went stationary, and throughout the retrograde up until now in July, it's been like a matter of recovery. I sense a lot of Scorpio energy to have been quite hung over throughout this period of like March, April, May, and June. And I want you to, like, right as you're entering into July, Scorpio, what did you see? What did you see in June, like specifically, that was either an easy fix or a very looming sense of I can never escape this? There was either something that Scorpio was able to like snap, like, yes, I fixed that problem, I walked away from that problem, and now I'm faced with a new life. Or it's like black or white. There was a sense of I will never get over this. I will never pass this addictive cycle. I will never get away from these people, from this career. It's or you just left and you went. And it feels like Scorpio is seeing the other side of that in July. Because what this month basically does for you, Scorpio, is it shows you the other side. It shows you the alternative option. You know, you've maybe had a goal and you're like, okay, I'm going to pursue this book or this record or this career. And it shows you what it's like for people who have pursued that and done that and been quite dissatisfied with what they got. For those of you who have like kind of distanced yourself and been like, okay, I'm going to go within, I'm going to disconnect more from the exterior aspects of life and look more within. You've seen people who have done that and have suddenly been like overexerted or overtaken by something like terrible. So I sense Scorpio to be trembling a bit moving into July, as you feel like there's an inescapability or a very large weight. So like breathlessness. I sense Scorpio to be like air hungry or weak, like the energy doesn't feel good. And the beautiful thing is, Scorpio, is that this month does it. This is the month for you where you can, if you want, no longer become air hungry or no longer have the hormonal issue that you've had for a long time, or heal the difficult experience. Because as I was talking about in my Jupiter and Scorpio video that I did back in like December, I'll put that in the right top corner of this video. This is the type of energy with this Jupiter transit where people can either like come down with very difficult, you know, not even necessarily physical diseases it can be, but also like a emotional templates that are very heavy and difficult to overcome. Likewise, it's the type of energy where people can walk right out of that and just leave that behind. And this is the month where it starts to happen. This is the month where it catalyzes itself to either become very heavy and looming or very easy to walk away from and work with. So let's go straight into that and ask, like, how do we make that decision? How do we establish either walking away and, you know, getting healthy, or buckling down and kind of getting ill? It all comes down to love. I feel, Scorpio, it comes down to the way that you love others and the way that you love yourself. And this isn't surprising to me, because it's not what you think. It's not what you think. So talking about like self-love, it's a hot topic in the spiritual communities. And I have a different take on it. Obviously, there are times where you have to be loving to yourself and you have to be soft with yourself, and you have to, you know, clear your schedule, lay in bed for a little while, have the tea, have the coffee, splurge on yourself, give to yourself. Sometimes those types of actions are not actually self-loving, though. Sometimes they are self-enabling, and that is the line that Scorpio has to see this month. Am I being self-loving or self-enabling? And because I sense a lot of Scorpios healing themselves with drink. I sense a lot of Scorpios feeling so tired that they're drinking like 5 cups of coffee a day, and like the heart starts to be upset with this. I see a lot of Scorpios who are feeling very emotionally barren, so they're generating emotional experiences in their lives and hurting others to hurt themselves. I sense a lot of like, okay, I need X, I need this variable in my life to feel like I'm loving myself, and if I don't have that, I'm going to consider this as like being unkind to myself, whereas I'm actually enabling myself by being quote-unquote self-loving into a harsh cycle. And this is like a big deal, Scorpio, because where you see yourself, and it's not even so dire or so severe for many Scorpios, in the sense that you're like becoming very manipulative with the guise of self-love, or that you're even poisoning yourself with some type of addictive cycle. For some of you, it's quite subtle, and you needed it once upon a time when we went through Saturn in Scorpio, when we had that difficult 2014 to 2016 period of time. Scorpio had to give themselves whatever Scorpio wanted. And that's okay for a short period of time, but here we are in 2018, mid-2018. 2018 is halfway over this month, Scorpios, and here Scorpio is still being quite insatiable, quite consuming, and quite starving for what they allowed themselves many years ago. And this is not good in a long-term sense, Scorpio, because here's what it brings up. It brings up matters of will and power. So when Scorpio is giving themselves everything that they want based on self-love, your willpower grows. You see that I can give to myself. I can create changes. I can enjoy life. My will grows. But when they're difficult or self-enabling types of cycles, they take away from your power. So what you see is an individual who's very willful but cannot carry out because their body is not strong enough to actually have the power to do so. And this creates a type of flux and an extreme frustration within Scorpio to know that they want something bad enough to get it, but then like not be able to walk to the mailbox without feeling like they're going to like faint or something. And I sense a lot of Scorpios to be there. I sense a lot of Scorpios to have like this extreme willpower, but the body is like crying for something, crying out for some type of help. So, and it's not going to be every single Scorpio out there, but I feel about 95%, and that's a big percentage, that the body is trying to tell us something. So yes, it's a time, if you haven't already done it, I feel like a lot of Scorpios in like April through June have been like getting the tests done. Like if your health has felt strange, like have the blood work done, have whatever it is that you've put off needing to have done. Like the first half of July is a great time to catch up with that. As I feel like a lot of you have also been in like treatment mode, so maybe over the last few months you've been detoxing. And I know I'm not trying to like you know, just like rub salt into the wounds of the Scorpios who are already onto this, and who have been like working over the last few months to change their ways. Small steps. This is the type of thing that requires small steps. Up until around August or September, where I feel that the Jupiter energy comes in and Scorpio just catalyzes and comes past this, because I want to see Scorpios be able to make congruent their will and their power. You've got the will part down. It's the power part that has to rise up. And we've been talking about over the last few months energy sources. What is it for you? Scorpio can be a bit of an emotionally vampiristic sign, so you can get energy from other people's pain. You can take on too many substances, too much caffeine, too much stimulants to have your energy, and your body and biology can kind of start to forget where it's getting its energy from. So I would suggest being in the sun. I would suggest being around water. I would suggest something that is kind of unmistakably good for you. So it's still not quite a time in like August or September. It can be. It's still not quite time to go crazy with like detoxing or really potent medicines, really potent treatment options, unless you are on like death's door or something. It's still not quite time for that. We've got to hold off. We've got to allow our bodies a type of blandness, like blander foods, blander situations of life, because Scorpio has to see how potent they actually are. And if you're surrounding yourself with a lot of sensory stimulation right now, you can forget your own potency. So we've got to create systems and situations which are an exhale. You know, renovating the house feels nice, making the colors more muted, making the colors more what you want, even if it's not muted, something that feels relaxing to you, because that's quite subjective. But something that makes your environment feel more crisp, clear, and fine. I also sense that some of you may be going away for a bit of time in July. Retreats do feel nice. You're resting, you're rejuvenating, you are allowing your cup to flow over again. And this should be the last month, Scorpio, where you have to be like confined. I do feel Scorpio having had to confine themselves throughout the Jupiter retrograde. And it won't retrograde again in Scorpio how it has here. So you will start to see inevitably in July that the world comes back into your hands, that you have acquired more than you've realized, and that you've made more progress than you've realized. You will also see what debts you've racked up, and you will see what health debts you've racked up too. Like, wow, I drank coffee so regularly for all of those years, and now my adrenal systems are not willing to be the way that they used to be before. I've got to heal this. You can also see relating to relationships, because I know I haven't talked much about relationships yet, because honestly, Scorpio's relationships are not that emphasized. They have been for like the last 2.5 years, but you came into this retrograde time, and the Jupiter energy, also I feel with Pluto and Saturn having gone retrograde as well, and your planet Mars, so both of your planets, Scorpio, are retrograde in July. Do remember that, Mars and Pluto, and Jupiter in your sign retrograde. So this is a defining time in Scorpio's life, like your entire life. This is such a big energy to have all of that going backwards. So of course it brings up things relating to the past, relating to where you've been, but it's not in a nostalgic way, and it's not in a reach for the past way. It's in a I have to get past that and rise above this way. And I sense some of you like converting that into nostalgia sometime during this month, perhaps even in that third or fourth week. It could be, but it will need to be left there if you can. When you're feeling so confined, when you're feeling so disconnected, you will kind of long for the past as a water sign, especially if you have Cancer in your chart or fourth house activations. But I sense even those Scorpios being able to see through guises of the past, lenses that were fogged. And that could be what's really happening, is you're seeing, okay, that person, even though I've almost like risen them up to be like a godly figure in my life, were actually someone who really took much from me. I have to take that back now. And I don't sense Scorpio making like a lot of new friends or a lot of new acquaintances. These are the people that matter in your life in July. So people that you've known forever, family, long-term relationships. For those of you who are married, I feel that that's okay. I feel that it's okay to be around spouses. And I feel like, you know, if you're freaking out, like I need to get a divorce, I need to get away from this person, I would allow yourself to take distance or make more boundaries for this month, but I wouldn't make split decisions. Scorpio can't handle a lot of like sensory split decisions, and of course there are going to be exceptions to that, but I would try to maintain versus destroy this month. If it comes time to destroy things or end things or move into like a death or 10 of swords type of cycle, I feel that to come later this year, and you'll be ready for it. That's the thing. If you force those things now, it will be, I feel like, a little bit too much to take. But for those of you who are already there, go along, try to not get that involved in it though. And that sounds difficult, obviously, if you're disconnecting from somebody, losing somebody in your life, or having a painful type of breakup or divorce energy. Try to not be that involved in it, and just think about how you can do that. Think about how you can, be on the clock with it. Okay, I'm going to be involved with this divorce and breakup thing from like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. today, and then I'm gonna end that shift, you know? Scorpio just cannot be too caught up in things 24 hours a day. Like, your heart and your chemical situations in your body just cannot handle that. For those of you who are courting, dating, or trying to find new people, I would enjoy yourself. I would have a decent time with that. Again, watch out for promiscuity. Jupiter is still retrograde during this time, and I honestly consider the entire time of Jupiter and Scorpio to be very conducive to contracting sexually transmitted diseases, so watch out for that. Keep yourself safe. And for those of you who are in like a situationship or a relationship that's been going on for a while but doesn't feel too serious, enjoy the easiness of it. Enjoy things that are easy. If it starts to get difficult, if it starts to get heated, if your heart starts like beating too quickly within the situation, you have to draw a little bit of distance. This doesn't mean that you have to leave people. For some of you it may, but anything that's too stimulating, too activating right now is not good, because it distracts you. And I know a lot of Scorpios are like, but I want to have fun in life right now. I want to enjoy myself. Jupiter is in my sign. This is very benevolent. Jupiter, I have come to find out in Scorpio, is a extremely giving energy. And you might be shocked. You're like, but so much has been taken away from me. So much difficult things have happened to me with this transit. How can it be that giving? Jupiter, as the natural ruler of Sagittarius, expansive, benefic, abundant, auspicious, beautiful, when it moves into antagonistic, darker aspect of life, life, death, rebirth energy of Scorpio, it gives to you in the way that you are given a type of problem in your life that forces a transformation and forces things to change. And if you're the type of Scorpio who likes to maintain, you know, you've got like a lot of Taurus or Cancer or Capricorn in your chart, it's very hard for things to be like ripped out of your hands during this time. It basically gives a vehicle of taking things away, if that makes sense. And the beautiful thing is that a lot of people are coming out of this healed from an illness through having the enabler or the part of yourself that enabled the illness to become so prevalent taken away. And that's hard, but it's very beautiful. You will look back on this time as a very defining experience of your life. Anyway, Scorpio, I need to get into the week to week. This is going to be such a long reading. In the first week of July, Scorpios, the Hierophant, rooted down by Page of Swords reversed. So new spiritual connections. I sense a lot of you maybe even feeling the presence of God or feeling the presence of very much higher powers in your life in the first week of July. And this feels beautiful. It does feel like you are being analyzed right now by foreign entities or energies. And I don't feel it to be bad. I don't feel it to be like lower vibrational. I feel this to be a testing time from higher powers. So seeing, okay, changes have been made. Many things are starting to become clear to this person. Are they ready to be happy? Are they ready to have more benevolence and easiness in their lives? And the answer will be yes and no for many different Scorpios. If you can kind of come into the first week of July, maybe write down what you've done wrong or how you've enabled yourself with the guise of self-love. Writing those things down, I feel, will be nice in this testing period, because the universe will see that you're aware. Even if you haven't been able to completely change the habit, self-awareness is good. Scorpios who like are perhaps like quite angry at the whole idea of self-diagnosing or admitting to faults or admitting to more than anything, not having to do with other people, like being mean and ugly to themselves, those I feel are the Scorpios who get like a difficult cycle starting in that first week. But for most of you, it's an incredible key. It's an incredible opening of a door that you didn't see before, for sure. And rooted down by Page of Swords reversed, it could come through how your brain works. Again, the Swords suit is all about logical capacities, cognitive parts of your life, and I feel that the cogs will start running smoothly through being real with yourself, through being honest with yourself, and at least reaching halfway, like meet the universe halfway. This isn't, because humans, like, we're not like perfect beings, you know. It's not that you have to be perfect by that first week to not have a really difficult experience of life. all you have to do is reach halfway to the universe, and it will help you for sure through that time. And how you're going to feel that is a sudden easiness within like the way that your body works and the way that your mind is working. Like, you know, you find, okay, now it's just easier to sleep at the right time. All of a sudden, I'm not dwelling on the past. All of a sudden, I'm not like really hurt over what happened to me a long time ago. Whoa, this has changed. Unless this whole like process of being hurt relating to the past or relating to past traumas is a coping mechanism. And that's what you will see. That's what you will see. If it's a coping mechanism, it won't have gone by the first week. It'll still be there. But if it's just a natural part of the grieving process, the first week is healing you of that grieving process. And it says it's okay to move on at this point in time. Week number 2, Scorpios, 4 of Swords rooted down by 2 of Cups reversed. Some of you are taking a break here. Some of you are postponing plans to move forward with a relationship, plans to connect to someone much more strongly, and you're taking a rest. For some of you, this could also be, and actually is more likely to be, breaking from extreme self-analysis or like holding yourself under a microscope that's not healthy. 2 of Cups reversed to me sometimes I like to interpret as 2 aspects of yourself meeting halfway with each other. And when it's reversed, to me, it feels like you're scrutinizing yourself, or you are trying too hard to see what's happening on the inside. So that's a major catch-22 of this reading, because I know I've been talking about how you have to like look at your health, how you have to like see all of these things within you that are amiss. By the second week, things have to get more casual with it. Everything that I've kind of said up to this point in time in the reading is sort of diagnosing and analyzing the issue of like March, April, May, and June, and the first half of July. But that's right at that period of time, like right where we see that split down the center of the reading and 7 of Pentacles. That's right where Jupiter moves into its direct degree. So we have to be able to find ourselves in week 2 of July, like the end of week 2 July, ready to disconnect, ready to not look so hard within ourselves, and hopefully having like a routine. So like the right medicines, the right sleeping cycles, the right circadian rhythms, to just not think so much about ourselves anymore. So congratulations are in order, I feel, in that week, Scorpio. It will feel like you can breathe again for a lot of you. It will feel like you can see straight again, see clearly again. I see you very sober during that week, and seeing the reality of situations and feeling supported by reality. What a nice change in rhythm, for sure. And that moves you into the third week, Scorpio. 2 of Wands rooted down by Ace of Cups. What beautiful, benevolent, auspicious energy. You're feeling direct Jupiter once again. And it's going to take it a little bit of time. Even though it's moving into direct degree, it's going to still kind of be feeling stationary, because it'll take it... I don't remember what the exact date is, but it's in like August or September where Jupiter is actually... let's see if I can count March, April, May, June, July, August, September. I think it's like late August or early September, but I can't remember. I'll try to put it in the description box below, when Jupiter's like actually like out of this like retrograde degree cycle. But like not past the retrograde degrees, but actually like moving strong, going like direct, if you know what I mean. But you feel it like a light switch in the third week, I feel, with a new form of power, much more hormonal balance. Some of you might be like celebrating something, or falling in love with somebody. I see as well with Ace of Cups, having some type of dream come true. It's incredible how the energy just shifts like right then and right there. And even if you're not feeling 100% yet, even if you're still feeling a little bit like queasy or like dizzy, maybe a bit agoraphobic from this Jupiter energy, I sense Scorpio to be planning the next level, planning the next attack, like planning the next possibility, and strategizing like back at the drawing board, and loving that process. Even if it's a plan that can't really take off till like September or October even, you're feeling strong enough to, you know, enjoy your planning process relating to your life. And not all of you even have to do that. Don't do it unless you're like dying to do it. Don't force anything during that week. Do what you want to do. Follow your template about like what's healthy and what's right or what's wrong for you, but do what your body tells you during that time, as long as it's not contributing to like a trauma or addiction cycle. Also for the third week, traveling is definitely supported, going different places, being by the beach, being by the ocean, foreign travel, very possible with Jupiter in your sign, especially for those of you with it like above the horizon in your chart. But for some of you, it won't quite be time. That's kind of split down the middle for Scorpios relating to travel. But if you're wanting it, it's definitely supported. Week number 4, the star rooted down by 5 of Pentacles. Dare I say that Scorpios realize during that time that they don't need so much to thrive. Some of you have taken a step back or worked less hours this month, and you might be feeling that in your bank account. But it's like regardless of what the financial situation is, regardless of how much you've been able to put out, you are thriving and you are feeling more healthy than you have before. I would recommend, like even at the beginning of the month, at the beginning coming in, to prepare yourself to be a bit more frugal, or to prepare yourself to not procrastinate. Sometimes I see 5 of Pentacles as, I like to associate it sometimes if you're like in college, you know, you have like a really big paper due or something, and you like wait till the last second, you're like going like 24 hours straight, like trying to finish things. Sometimes I do sense 5 of Pentacles to be the outcome of procrastination. So be measured with yourself, pace yourself so you're not having to go too crazy in the 4th week. But even if you're there, even if you're having to like really output a lot, it feels like you're still okay. It feels like your body can handle it now. And I would just prepare yourself to learn how you can do more off of less, to how can you maybe have a house that costs less but is actually nicer? How can you make less money and actually give yourself more? It feels very possible. And it also feels possible that Scorpio is given a gift during that time too. Jupiter, again, is luck, benevolence, and it's in its direct degree at that point in time. So you should start to feel that your luck changes and turns a bit. For some of you, it might have a delay again until August or September, but things should start shifting to be more on your side and more nice, more nice and more benevolent right about then. I wouldn't rely on too much from other people, though. I wouldn't, like if someone's been promising to give you an amount of money, repay you for something, or help you in some type of situation, I do feel like Scorpio still has to help themselves, and I feel that Scorpio has to shine with their own light and be quite independent in some way, very much so. And that's because Scorpio doesn't need to be indebted to other people right now. You don't need someone to come in and save you from the bill or save you from whatever it is, because I feel that they may request repayment at an inconvenient time in the future. So do keep that in mind. 7 of Pentacles is your central theme this month. It makes perfect sense. You are measuring, you are being still, you're not planting new things, you're looking at what has already come into abundance and looking at what has already bloomed. And I do feel Scorpio choosing to prune some of the things which have bloomed or have started to die. It does feel like there's so much on the table, there's so many possibilities, so many options, and I sense you taking the sickle there, or turning that walking stick into a sickle and removing some of the things which are no longer going to work, and also building up and fertilizing the things that will. So that's sort of the overarching goal for this month, is through this incredible process and transformation and detox that you're going through. The goal is to weed out what's not going to work anymore and to prioritize with that excess energy what will, and to grow that much more strongly. So do keep that in mind. It's a great month also to watch investments grow, to watch like what you've invested in, whether that be like stocks, your career, your health. It's an incredible month to watch it grow and to watch the transformation happen. I feel that many people are proud of you, and many people are very happy to see you starting to come back to yourself. And most of all, I feel you to be very relieved through this month, but it's like an uphill battle nonetheless. But you get there, Scorpio, and I'm so happy. Make sure to check your sun, moon, rising sign to get some other details. I'm so thankful to have you all here, and comment below like how you're doing with this, how this is for you. I feel like Scorpios could come together and, you know, communicate how their healing process is going during this time, because your reading was definitely the most intensive this month with all of this retrograde energy around you, with your planets retrograde and a planet retrograde in your sign. So comment below how you're doing, what steps you're taking to get stronger, and don't be afraid to build others up. I feel that that's karmically wonderful, and I would love it if this video could become something that's helpful to many. Also, if you haven't had the opportunity yet to subscribe to my channel, I would so appreciate that. Your likes and comments mean the world to me. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, which you can check below. And you can also click the center of your screen to check out my Patreon page or book a private reading with me if that's interesting. I'll be doing like a few less private readings in July, probably because I'm a Scorpio too, and I'm having to like take a little bit of time to, you know, not overdo myself. This reading has been like a lot of energy in and of itself. But if they're still available, I will be happy to work with anyone who's there. And also check out anything that's on the screen right now. And I'm wishing you much love, much abundance, and much power and will during this time, and an integration of that. Anyway, Scorpios, we will be talking soon. Much love. Bye.